if no one comes to work, I'm taking my happy ass home.
Now it is illegal to cross with an undocumented person across the state line.
Free advice. If you get pulled over for...
What we need to do is just stop in like a paro nacional.
You're drinking that Prime drink that all the kids have been raving
Shout
about
outs to Prime
lately.
for sponsoring this podcast. I wish, right?
He's
an alcoholic?
No, I don't know what is
It's
it.
an energy drink.
Are they raving?
By
All the kids. I took it to the beach
Can I see
yesterday.
that?
yeah, Logan Paul.
And my niece and my nephew, oh my God, you have the Prime drink? And I'm like,
It has
I don't
no
know.
sugar. Does it taste good?
At this,
Logo?
Energy
at this
drink.
point, I'm just trying to be cool with the kids. That's
Yeah,
it.
logo we get here right now, and my friends' kids are like, can we have that Prime drink? And I'm like, what's up with this Prime drink?
Now I'm going to go buy it.
Once it gets going.
I don't wanna be left
I
out.
don't know. But anyways, welcome back, you guys, to another Cruda Realidad
Can you
podcast.
stop saying anyways like Shotty Bay?
Anyways, do
You guys know who Shotty Bay is?
Oh my God.
We'll
she's-
tell you guys about
And
that later on.
anyways is all the time?
Yeah. She's a super like viral. I think she's the most viral thing on TikTok right now.
Oh.
Yeah. See?
Super funny.
But you know you've been saying
¿Cómo se
anyways.
llama?
person. I'm sorry.
But you know you've been saying anyways.
Yeah,
for-
you-
Oh
been
yeah,
saying
I
that
have.
forever.
But she says it like another way. She'll be like, anyways. It's so
Yeah, you
funny.
gotta check
I love her.
out. You gotta check her out.
Yeah,
She's,
I'ma add it
she's
to TikTok.
entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you before you leave.
Well-
But today we are on
Anyways.
episode.
Anyway.
Segue.
Go ahead.
Today we are on episode 41.
41, yeah.
And today we have some very special guests with us today. Here in Tampa, Florida, I think wait, what was I gonna say?
I don't know, but the whole mission
se me olvidó.
at one point of this podcast wasn't only to bring you guys desmadre drinking. It honestly was to bring you insights in everything. You know, insights in the industry, and insights in the culture, just insights in everything.
Yeah.
And a little bit of desmadre too. So that's why
Yeah.
we're here today
We love
to bring
desmadre.
you insights
Yeah.
of what's going on. You know, go ahead. Ahora sí. I
Yes.
helped you think there, right?
Yeah.
See,
So
that's the time.
let me introduce
There you
them. Today we have with me my special guest. You want to introduce yourself?
Yep, DJ Moyo. And that's pretty much all I could say. DJ Moyo. I've been born and raised in Tampa, and currently on, I don't know, 7 radio stations.
7.
Yeah, six in
Name
Florida.
them all, name them all.
We just started in St. Louis, and now we're working on Waco, Texas.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah,
that's
El
cool.
Arranque Mix is my we said baby earlier. El Arranque Mix is my program. It's
Okay.
an hour-long mix. It comes on various radio stations, so we're syndicating it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, I'm Danielle Hernandez. I'm an immigration attorney here in Tampa, and I represent clients all over the country in immigration cases.
Okay.
So I've been an immigration attorney for about 13 years, and I've lived in Tampa Bay for the last 4 years. So I'm
Okay.
still new to the area.
I feel the same way. I've been in Tampa for 7 years, we said, something like that, and I still feel new. So
And before we continue, I actually want to talk about how I don't know Danielle, right? We just met, but I do know DJ Moyo for literally ever, you guys, since I was like 14 years old.
time.
yeah, don't let the
10
hair
plus
fool
years.
you. He is one of the most Mexican guys
Yeah,
that I know.
super Mexican.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
So go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
So yeah, I've known DJ Moyo since I was 14 years old, sneaking into the clubs. I know. I was bad. But anyways, DJ Moyo, I actually met him. He is one of the biggest DJs out here in Tampa for most of the Mexican clubs that have ever opened up here in Tampa. Super known, has even done Premios Lo Nuestro. I remember that
the
one
Premios
time,
Juventud,
right?
2010,
And,
yeah.
And yeah, he does a lot. He does un poquito de todo. Super known out here. And yeah, we've gone way back, right? Yeah.
So you said since you're 14, so you know
Yeah.
him 10 years, right? You're 24?
10 years. Yeah, I'm 24. Yeah. Oh, no, 20.
20 years.
Wait, don't put your
Oh,
age
my
out there.
God.
She like, oops.
Remember we said you're going to be 21 forever? Or what was it, 24?
I know, 24. I'm 24.
Yeah, was it
Forever
20 years?
young.
20
Yeah,
years?
20
That's
years
crazy.
already.
It's a
Yeah.
long time been doing it.
That's
Yes.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
20 years has always been with raza, right? My whole life.
Yeah, literally, I'm what's called jalapeño con gandules. It's Mexican and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that was my
raised-
next question,
I was
yeah.
raised Mexican. My father's Puerto Rican, but he was met my mom in the tomato fields.
Okay.
And so se la cotorreó con una canasta de tomates.
Oh, my God.
And she was hanging clothes, he's like, hey. after this.
Nuh-uh.
Give it to your mom. Swear to God. Swear to God.
Oh my God.
Y a los 15 años se la robó.
And you were raised where? Out here?
Raised in Wimauma. Wimauma, I always say Wimauma, USA. But I was raised out that way. And literally I think I was like 14, Mondo, and my mom had always wanted a tortilleria. Okay. And I was 14 when my dad pulled up, 13 I think at the time still, when he pulls up with this big machine in back of his truck that he brought from Matamoros, and he put up a tortilleria in Wimauma, which with all my research, I think is the first tortilleria in Florida.
I bet.
He then probably.
Yeah, like it was. I mean, I was 14. We're talking a lot of years ago. So my father then helped other tortillerias help pass, because you had all these health inspections. So he figured out a way that you could put up a tortilleria legally, because back in the day in Mexico, the tortillas used to come by underneath the actual chains. So like the grease would fall on the tortilla. So here it wouldn't pass.
That's why they taste different. No
my sabor. But no, so he figured it out here. But literally, I was selling pan mexicano and palmetto, like that's riding crazy. In my truck. Yeah, I was born but raised totally Mexican.
I didn't know that Mexican. Part.
For people wondering, Wimauma is what, like 50% Mexican, the rest
90, like
90.
Yeah, Wimauma is the little Mexico of one of the little Mexicos in Florida, because even though I've said it a million times that we don't have as much Mexicans here as there is in LA and Texas, Chicago, there is Mexicans here, and a lot of them are in the little towns.
The like little towns.
Plant City, Wimauma,
we're in the rural areas.
Yeah.
In the rural areas is where we have the pockets.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
But what is like your first memory of me that you could think of?
I remember me
twerking on stage.
No. Before the twerking years. I remember having the first time I remember, because she's known as Lily, but what happened was I had put together a TV streaming service, and it had and it had videos, and so she'd go on and watch the video, and she would
during
comment
work hours.
So she would comment like, "Oh, this Lily Guanajuatos," and it was is Puri your uncle? Or,
he's my uncle.
So and he worked for the nightclub I had at the time, a real good friend of mine, but I then found out that you were his niece. But I was like, yo, she was down with like the video streaming. Like I always did things before my time. Like I was like the video streaming.
It was like a podcast almost. Like
I would do things. It was like
that's crazy.
Yeah, because it was like that too though. It was like with breakdancing. When I was breakdancing back in the day, like no one here would breakdance, because we lived in the rural, man. I used to go to New Jersey to work in the fields, but like all my family, my Puerto Rican side was breakdancing. So I'd come down here and it was like nobody would breakdance.
What's wrong with this guy?
It's before the internet, dude. It was before the internet and all that. Crazy. So but that was. I mean, I remember the video streaming service. That's really why I remember your name for the first time.
Yeah, I was always up there. But yeah, my first memory was actually going to Club 112 way back in the day. Which, fun fact, random, okay? You know, 112 was like my home. I was at that club every weekend, right?
And he was the main DJ.
He was the DJ. Yeah. It was his.
Okay.
And tell me why years later I moved in to 915, which is the apartment that they knocked down 112 and they built there.
Wow.
I was like, wait a minute. This is where Club 112 used to be at. I was here every weekend.
Used to party here.
I used to party downstairs, and now I live here. Cool. It was so trippy for me. Yeah. And then now that we live here off of, I was like, bro,
That's literally when the map pulled up. I was like, right next to the club.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy though? Like you go back to where
I'm gonna have to bleep that out because they're gonna know where we live.
We ride around here looking for it.
But yeah, my first memories with Moyo was actually him being a DJ and me being like, wait a minute, he doesn't look Mexican.
Like you sound Mexican,
jamming out to everything.
Yeah.
He sounds and then after that, literally, 112 got moved to. And then we followed him that way, and then that was my second home there all the time too.
I mean, now fast forward, what is it?
20 years.
We're here. You think you're gonna be doing a podcast with DJ Moyo?
No, actually.
First thing I told her, I said, "Yo, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you."
From the how would you say, inside out, outside in? What do you see Lillian Bay? What do you see Guariz? What do you see, like, what do you see as?
Listen, no, I know
this should be being selfish at this point.
No, I know that she comes from a family of entrepreneurs. So I know she was always super smart. So when she started doing the Guariz thing, I thought that was amazing. And my sister told me about the Guariz.
Oh, okay.
She told me that she was, she sells chanclas. I'm like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm like, but she ain't selling chanclas to Raza. She's selling chanclas outside of there.
Yeah.
I was like, that's smart.
Yeah.
And saying to me, so that's the first thing I told her when I talked to her on the phone. I said, first of all, I'm super proud of you.
Yeah.
Super proud of you. Because
Thank you.
I think in what we do, we gotta lift ourselves up.
Yeah.
You know, for her to say, yo, come on the podcast, that's huge. That's huge for us. And I appreciate that because we need it in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you were down. I'm glad that he's, like I said, he reached out, and I was like, perfect. Because me and Mando had been like, scratching our heads as to how we're gonna talk about this. Because I didn't just want to come on here and be like, yeah, that loss fucked up, and that's it. Like, I don't know I don't know what else is true and what is not. And then I was
you don't want to sit there and have to read the thing.
But I was telling him that even when I do research, I feel like, is this for real? Like, is this site legit? Is this site not? Like, I don't know where to get the correct information from.
You guys shoot me all the questions. I feel like since everything started, the majority of the phone calls I get is abogada, dime si es verdad, X, Y, Z, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we also did a post on our Instagram where you guys sent us some questions that you guys might want to ask them. And you are ready?
Yeah, and I'm also here on this chair to learn also of what's going on, because I'll be honest, like, we don't make enough time to get into the news and all that. So I want to get the knowledge too. So maybe like you guys back there on the other side of this camera, like, want to know, I want to know too. So that's why we're here, you know?
And also, a lot of people don't watch the news anymore. I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
I hear, like, a lot of my clients, I'm like, I heard it on TikTok.
Right. And everyone's news, Facebook, TikTok, and there's a lot of wrong things too on there.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say the majority of the news is bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like it's exagerada. It's very exaggerated.
Pues por eso I didn't repost or post anything. Because I'm like, is this even true or no? Yeah. And I don't want to get people more scared, because a lot of people I know follow us, and they would think that we do the research behind it if we were to repost it. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people see it and they automatically think, oh my God, this is true, and repost it. But that's why today I brought you guys in. And
I took some notes because I've been talking about this a little bit. So what we're talking about all over, unfortunately, sometimes in Florida, la fama is never good fama. I feel like every time we talk about Florida, outside of Florida, it's never for some good stuff. Yeah. Maybe right now the Miami Heat or something will get our names in a good place.
Hopefully.
Pero
the Rays too, yeah.
So this is something called Senate Bill 1718. It's law. It was signed into law. It's passed, is true. Now, it doesn't go into effect until July 1st. That's the difference, which is just a little bit over a month from now. We're practically in June.
Yeah. Tomorrow. When this podcast comes out.
That's right. Tomorrow will be June 1st, so we have a month, July 1st. So I'm going to give you like the highlights. Number one, they are making it a second degree or third degree felony to transport somebody who's illegal into the state of Florida in your car. They're going to charge you with like alien smuggling.
That's the biggest one I've seen on social media.
And now this is what I try to talk to people. I'm like, we got to parse this down, because this is a state statute, a state criminal statute. We have to remember that Florida is not immigration. Ron DeSantis is not La Mira. Yeah. So that's a big distinction I tell people. So that is, I'm just going to say it. So transporting a person is a second degree felony. Transporting a minor is a third degree felony. And then they charge you for each person that's in the car. That's just how it's written. So I like to talk about how it's written. But then my challenge is, how are you going to apply this shit?
But you know what, though? Just for our people already, we know that being a coyote is illegal.
Right.
If you're from the culture, you know a coyote is the person that transports undocumented people across the state, all the way from Mexico, and who knows where they came from, but they land here. So it's usually to work. So the way Abogada Danielle puts it, nomás tienes que usar el sentido común. You just gotta use a little common sense. You already know it's illegal to cross. So yeah, now it is illegal to cross with an undocumented person across the state line. When the bill first, before it got signed, and they told me that it had passed to his desk, to the governor's desk, that's what kicked me in the gut, because I was thinking, I had read it before it passed. And I remember it included, if we're driving around, let's just say Tampa, and we get pulled over. Modified, yeah. It was part of it.
Okay.
So when it first passed, I was like, oh shit.
You're like, I can't drive my grandma.
I'm already used to driving while black. Now I gotta get worried about, driving my mom around and people stopping me. So that to me was like really bugged out. That's why we started making calls. That's when we started like riling people up because of that. But know that, in Tampa, in Florida, anywhere in Florida, you can drive with your homies and everybody and not have to worry about it. But coming into the state with an undocumented person, it's illegal. 3rd-degree felony.
So I'm not sure how they're going to enforce it. So let me go back to just give you the highlights. So that's the big one, right? Everyone's worried about that. They invalidated all out-of-state driver's licenses if you don't have a status. What does that mean? There are a lot of states, I think like 5 or 6, that if you don't have an immigration status, you could still get a license because they don't care. They will issue you like a non-immigration status license, but you have to comply with the other requirements to get a license. For example, I know Illinois, California, Colorado, Washington State, they issue licenses, and New York, they issue licenses to people that don't have an immigration status, but you still have a license and you have an ID. So now in the state of Florida, as the way the law is written, because I like to say that, if they stop you and you have no immigration status, that license is not going to be valid. So in practical terms, you'll get a ticket or whatever they do with that. Right. So that's that part. They continue. There's like the E-Verify thing. Basically, if you have more than 25 employees, you have to use E-Verify. Yeah, that's a pain in the ass. That a lot of people aren't going to work because of that. The one that bothers me the most, believe it or not, is the one about the hospitals, because this is the one where people have a lot of, like, they're worried. And I'm like, the law literally says that a hospital has to ask you now, if the hospital is a Medicaid hospital receiving public funds, they got to ask you for your immigration status. So it's just going to be like another line in a form. But people are freaking out, and I have to like really reassure people, like, please go to the hospital. If you need emergency care, go to the hospital. I think there's one other.
Well, I think the big one, just to pause on that, when you're sick or when you want to go to the hospital, you're not going to try to figure out, is that hospital Medicaid backed or not? You're just going to go to the hospital, and you might get screwed when you're there, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's the thing.
I think at the end of the day, I think our messages needs to be, don't stop going. After July 1st, they're going to add the questions into the questionnaire that we all always
and
fill
you
out.
Don't have to respond.
Yeah, it's in the law, no?
The law says you don't. You can check.
They have to have a question.
They have to have the question, but you don't have to respond.
But regardless, us Latinos, let's say, we already don't go to the hospital or to the doctor that much.
Only if you're like
so
dying.
now add this speed bump. It's just going to make it harder at that point.
Yeah, and miedos being a parent and you being undocumented, but your son or daughter has Medicaid, they're still going to ask you if you're documented. But there will be an option down there that you say, I wish not to answer.
It's like yes, no,
and that's in the law. They have to have that.
Okay,
So don't be afraid.
And nobody posts that. Like, why don't they say
No,
that
they don't.
part,
That's the problem. I feel like we're on a tour of like telling people what is actually there. And then I like to let's talk about this practically, like the human smuggling one. Like, they're not going to fucking close the border between Florida and Georgia. I wish he would.
Yeah.
That'd be so quick to challenge. Like, there's so many ways to challenge that legally. Ain't going to happen. But it's enough. I just try to show people, unfortunately, it gives other people the option to scare you. And that's the goal. And it's working. So that's why I'm like, let's shoot me all the questions. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is it will give pretext, like a reason for police to stop and ask you for your license. Be like, oh, this little brown guy. They're not going to say it to you. Yeah. But if you look like a labor worker or you look Latino or Hispanic, they're going to be like, if you like don't turn with a turning signal or have any, because we still have to remember they need a reason to stop you.
So I think that was one of the, there's an organization here in Florida called Mi Familia Vota. It was one of the first ones I called. And I called them because I was like, I need help. I just couldn't think of, I said, we got to like get together and we got to do something. So I reached out to them because during the Obama campaign, they asked for my help. So in all that, the following meeting that we had with them, they brought a training to me, and it was a human rights training. And in that human rights training, it goes from knowing your rights when they try to knock down your door and they start knocking real hard, and how to present yourself. And part of that training is like, yo, don't leave your house without checking your car. Don't leave your house without checking your car if you have to drive. If you're undocumented, and we know there's a lot of raza that likes to party, I mean, that are our age and younger than us.
Make sure you don't got a tail light off.
Yeah, just make sure all your shit works. And your parents and uncles, yo, take the big Michoacan sticker off. Take the big, like Big Rodriguez across the back. Like, you don't need that stuff on your car,
especially right now.
Because back in I remember part of the presentation I taught it to RCMA because I want them to teach it to the parents. And part of the presentation was like, listen, I know what it is. I used to get pulled over just for being black, and like all the time. So I used to like just get scared. I'd see a cop, I'd be like this. And so I remember I'd put on glasses. I said, yo, when I put on glasses, them motherfuckers don't stop me. So I started wearing my glasses.
Like reading glasses?
Yeah. Like they think I'm a nerd. They don't think I'm a thug. So but if I had my flannel on, because even back in the day you was to wear the flannel. So I had my flannel on, but it was everywhere else. And I remember they used to stop me, get me out, take my picture. I didn't know they were going against my own human. They shouldn't have been doing that. I was underage.
It's the constitutional right. So no, of course, no. I wish my illegal clients would be like, but I made little cards being like, you have the right to be silent. Yeah. You don't have to answer any questions. Yeah. Remember, the police can lie to you. They're allowed to lie to anybody. Anybody, even if you're not illegal, they're allowed to lie to you.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
That's how they, there's like coerced confessions, and we can go down this thing for a while. But they're allowed to lie to you. So, express questions like, have I committed a crime? Am I free to leave? And then I want to call my attorney.
That's all you got to say. That's it.
You don't. Yeah, you can invoke your right to silence. Yeah. The Constitution applies to everybody everybody present in the United States.
People when they run around and they're driving while drunk, and so they get pulled over. Some people be like, I don't want to take the test. And they refuse. You don't have to take the test.
No, you don't have to take the test. All right.
And it makes their life a little
free advice.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
If you get pulled over for a DUI, do not blow. No. Do you want to get... No.
Dude shouldn't be blowing anyway.
You invoke your right to silence, and you let them cuff you, and you go to jail. You call an attorney, and they will have you out of there. And if you have a job, you can get a hardship license in like 48 hours. Don't blow. Yeah. Don't try to pass a field sobriety test. You don't have to.
Let's go. Free
don't
tips.
Do it. So
at the end of the day, don't drink and drive.
But if you don't drink and drive,
it's out there.
But if you have that slippery 3-drink thing that you don't know,
you're running the risk.
But same with an undocumented person. It's like, I don't want to drive, but I got to go get my kid. Yeah. I don't want to drive,
but I got to go to work.
Yes, it's like I don't work around the corner. And we got people driving to Orlando to do roofing. We got people driving to Fort Myers.
That's the part that pisses me off. I heard that I just got a call from a woman today, somewhere called Walton Beach. I don't know, Florida like that. And she said that they picked up her husband and several other people like right before going to work. Wow. They did. I don't know if they did construction, something typical for. Undocumented Latinos, that he's the breadwinner. She has 2 little kids and she's pregnant, so she doesn't work, and he's in an immigration detention, right? So it's like, damn it. These are the kinds of phone calls I get as an attorney. They're like, what can you do to help him get out? And I'm like, well, I gave her the reality. And I was like, this is what you got. I could try, and we can shoot our shot and see what happens.
Yeah, that sucks.
But those are the type of calls we get on a daily basis. But now I'm worried because I don't know what part of town it is, why they did this. Yeah, he had a prior, but they didn't stop him because of that. So I don't know. We'll be doing some digging.
Do you think that has anything to do with the law?
I have no idea. That's the part that concerns me. I don't know, because this is the first time I've heard. Someone else had mentioned another redada. I don't know.
You know, in Clearwater,
Diana said something like a
redada. Yeah, but see, I guess a lot of this stuff is very like unconfirmed. Like that happened to her client.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I tell people, I say let's not do this. I heard,
Right.
because it scares people.
Yeah.
In Clearwater, there was a store, and they were like, "Oh, they picked up 14 people." I called the owner, and the lady's like, "Nah, man, no one was here.
What?
No one was here." Like
That's crazy.
they made this whole thing up because they probably saw a car.
That's
out
crazy.
there. Yeah, and the guy from LULAC, he came down and he toured the state, and we were talking to him in a meeting down in Arcadia, and he was saying that he ran up on an immigration officer and asked him if they were doing any redadas, and he's like, "Oh no, man, I'm just here to buy a sandwich." Like they're like, and he gives him his card, and he's like,
That's
"Yo,
crazy.
listen, we're here to help." Yeah, he said, "You know, unless they ask us to go do these things," I said, "but we're here to help."
So the way it works, one part of my history, I used to work for Homeland Security. I worked for DHS, and I know from experience most of the time they only do these redadas when they have people that already have final orders of deportation or something targeted, right? Like, I don't know, they're investigating something. It's rare, especially in this administration, that they're going to go do something like that. So now I have this situation that I have to figure out what happened.
Explain that
how
for a
much
second. What do you mean the administration?
Wait, before we get into that, like redadas, for the people that don't know, what does that mean? Just in case.
How do you say it in English?
It's like going out and
it's a
targeting,
roundup.
right?
Like they
Like we
raid.
rounded
Oh,
them
a
up.
raid.
A raid.
Lack of a
Okay.
better word, a raid. So a specific operation by when La Migra shows up,
Okay.
basically,
Okay.
right? They round up the place, they close it, and they check everybody's papers.
Yeah. No
I've
questions
had
asked, yeah.
colleagues that are Mexican American. She's an immigration judge now. She got caught at one of these in Virginia. She's like, "Bitch, I'm American."
That's crazy.
She had to prove. She's like, "I work for Homeland."
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. She was
Wow.
this was a long time ago. So they're not uncommon. It's just that, and by this administration, I mean the Biden administration, I haven't heard that they've been doing this. I'm not saying that they haven't. They got other problems right now. But with the Trump administration, it was very common. They're like, "All right, everybody with a final order, let's go. Let's go round them up and operations." And it just that's what a redada is, guys.
Okay,
Now
okay,
we know.
got it. But we were going into something before that.
Yeah, you
that's
were
my
about to
train of
ask
thought.
something.
Yeah, we
Oh, you look shocked now. Like, I don't know what I was going to say.
I like a redada is like raid in
Raid.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, it is.
yeah.
But before we continue, let's go on this quick break, and we'll see you guys in literally a second.
I'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome back to episode 41, part 2.
Felicidades, guys.
Thank you.
Right. Go ahead.
Crickets.
She's
I
like,
thought
"Okay,
you were
you."
gonna say
No,
something.
I wasn't.
But yeah, like I said earlier, we had a lot of people send us questions. The number one question on Instagram: are people really leaving the state?
I'm going to start with people are preparing. And I think if anyone knows any family members, I think preparation is good just
Yeah.
because if you're undocumented, you should already have a plan. Like if you don't have a plan, create a plan. I have a plan with my kids. We're all born here. But our plan is, what if dad don't come home one day? You should have a plan with your kids. You should have a plan. They should know phone numbers that are not just, programmed in a phone.
Yeah.
So, and the undocumented families we've talked about creating a plan. And it saddens them, it scares them more. But it's like, listen, it's not about that. It's like you should have had this shit already.
That's true, though.
Like let's get that really straight. And I'm really real with them when it comes to that. And I'm talking about because I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis about it. But so are they leaving? I have a buddy of mine. Shout out Lester. He has a construction company. He called me. He's like, "Yo, I went out to go look to see if I could find work and housing for my workers that want to leave." And he found, and he's in construction. He found a whole 300 house job in
good.
Oklahoma or something.
Oh man.
Where he can relocate his company. So is it going to affect the state? Yeah, I think it's going to affect the state. I think some people are like me. It's like I was born and raised here, but we were saying it off camera. But I'm pissed at my state. I'm pissed, but with that comes other things. Like I was born here, but I'll bounce if you don't want me here. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm living in a state that don't want people that look like me or look like my mom, like something has to happen. And Danielle said, yeah, we got to do something. And that's what we're doing on the first. We're doing the first. You know, like I could stay, but I don't like someone that don't like me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, live in the apartment complex, but they don't like you because of the color of your skin.
Yeah.
It's like, you going to leave real quick.
Yeah.
So it's like that, or can I vote and change the way this goes?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing now.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So what are you doing on the first?
On the first.
So we're gonna go into the first. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So do you know about anybody leaving though, as far as that?
I don't. I've gotten the question of, all right, I'm traveling, a lot of nannies and people that are or the sad part, people that are going out of the state for vacation. They're like, you think I should cancel my vacation? I was like, if you're asking me if they're going to close the border, no. You got to be like super extra careful when you're driving your ass back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gotten questions like, should I pack up my house and leave? Like, you know, what do I do? My personal advice is I wouldn't fucking go anywhere unless you have the means, unless say you have family, which a lot of immigrants do. We have families in other states and you can relocate somewhere that's just better for you until Florida changes tide. That's fine. But to like wrap up your whole life and leave, I'm not giving that advice right now. I'm saying no. Personally, I don't know anyone that's left, but I've seen it covered on the news. I've seen like construction workers and labor workers not showing up and just like not available. So I don't know. I hope they don't. I hope they show
It's messing
the economic impact.
Yeah, it's messing the economic impact. That I can tell you is like, you know, somebody posted about the weekend there was an event and no one shows up at the event. But there's a lot of events that no one shows up to. They have the right act or whatever. But I'm saying there's a lot of things that people are now thinking, do I really want to go to that event?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's changing commerce. It's going to change the money. It's definitely going to change the money.
A good friend of mine owns a promotion company, does the biggest violence here in Florida, and he was saying why they canceled the events. He pretty much said that, I mean, the people are not going to go. Half of the people that go to these events are undocumented. This he was saying.
Yeah.
And why? Why cancel them? Because I mean, you just run a risk to have a bad event. You know.
I had an event. It was a big event, and the promoter came to me, and he was like shitting bricks because the group needed their money, and so he pulls me in, and it was a very, very big group, and he was afraid that he's gonna. When you're a promoter, those groups, like if I have the hottest act, I want to keep the hottest act. I want to be able to bring him back 6 months later. Right. And he was so scared. He calls me into the office like, Moyo, can you please tell him about that? Can you please? Because it was a time at those many years back that there was a few, and it was a lot of fear going around. And so I told him, I said, listen, so this happened. I don't know if that helps in any which way, but I hope it does. You know, because this group, you know, they're coming into the state, and they come in, it's like, oh, you know, our baile was bad. But it's because of this. Yeah, people get scared. They don't want to go out.
Yeah, and then people would be like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to go to that baile. The migra might be there, you know." Yeah. So like they're scared to go. So.
Or there might be a redada.
Yeah, like one of the questions on my Instagram too is like, "Why are they canceling the events? That's not fair." I'm like, bro, like you know, it's just. Yeah,
it made sense to me. I get it. I felt because maybe the promoters think, you know, we don't want to put nobody at risk. We don't want there to be a potential raid and it kind of fall back on us. Or number 3, have a bad event where nobody shows up and then we have to pay all this money out to the groups and all that. So it makes sense. It does suck, but I get it. I'm not mad at it. I'm like, okay, it is what it is until everything.
I look at it like the demographics. In the phone call with Lily, I was telling her, I was like, I think it's important that your audience knows what the hell's going on. Because I have papers, but I remember a time when my mom wasn't a citizen. You know what I'm saying? I remember when that happened. I remember and if I was a kid right now born here and I'm 17, 18 years old and I know that my uncles and my family don't, and this shit would really scare me. You know, it scares me now. I can just imagine if it was like a direct impact. You know, I have close friends of the family that are in this situation that have canceled events. They won't leave the state because they know they can't come back. So, because if they try coming back, whoever's driving them, they're going to get in trouble too. Yeah. So those kind of things, it's like, that's what's going on. That's the kind of stuff that should be pissing people off. It should be pissing your demographic off. It pissed me off. So what we're doing the first.
Right, that was my next question. Let's get
into
that. What
we're doing the first is, first, we had a town hall. In the town hall, this little lady by the name of Anna Lamb, she gets up, she says, what we need to do is just stop in like a paro nacional. And boy, that whole place lit up. They're like, woo! They want to strike. Okay. They want to go and they want to say, you know what? A Day Without Mexicans. You seen that movie, A Day Without Mexicans? Yeah, the little leaf blower is going, like, so that really is what it is, A Day Without Immigrants. And so the first, and I'm not saying participate in it, because I'm not telling somebody don't go to work, because there's many people that need to go to work. But I say, if you have the means and you're going to participate in this thing, Anna and me were talking to the consul, the Mexican consulate, and we came up after we talked to him in a Zoom call. We came up with an idea. It's like, yo, well, let's put some action to our words. Mm-hmm. You can sit on, because they're going to be out in Del Mabry, they're going to be down in Wimauma, they're going to be in Plant City, and they're going to have their signs
all over
screaming.
Florida. Yeah. They're
going to be all over the place. So what I'm saying is, let's put some actions to our words. Yes, the elections are until next year. This fool, and I didn't mean to call him a fool. Yes, I did. Ron DeSantis is running for president. He's running for president. So not only in the elections can we participate or that, but at our state level, 2 years from that, we'll be able to, all these people that put this kind of law in.
Everyone that signed.
Yeah, the fool that wrote it is here in Tampa. Like, all these people, we have direct control. If your ass didn't vote,
shame on you.
You just gave him the vote. Like, and then people are like, oh, you know, I know elections have been won by 2 votes.
Yeah. Elections have been won. All right, this is my little soapbox. People are like, eso no cuenta. You're fucking wrong. Let me tell you that. In the city council, I track political stuff really closely. I had a friend who lost by 150 votes. That's nothing. That's you know, crazy. He lost a seat to an old guy who has no business in the city council. But whenever people say, oh, my vote doesn't count, it doesn't matter, I don't know. I guess I can't knock people because you come from governments that are really corrupt, right? Yeah. There's some fucked up shit that it doesn't matter what you do and vote. It doesn't. But we're not there. We're here, and I've seen it. I've had people that literally every vote counts. So I'm excited that you guys are gonna register people, right?
We're literally registering people. We're taking our ass right into Dover. We're going to be at the IGA in Dover on the 1st from 11 to 3. From there, I'm shooting my ass down. We're taking the radio stations. We have an organization, Mi Familia Vota, is going to be doing it legit, registering. You can, in Florida, you can register, I mean, since you're 16. You can register at 16. Okay. You don't get your card till you're 18, but you can register already. So cool. Bring everyone. I like that. I want to see those numbers. I think that's the most important thing for us to say, yo, we can stand up and scream and shout like we've always done. I said, or we could actually do something about it and send all your kin and your folks and your brothers and your sisters. Hey, everyone go down there and make sure you registered. Yeah, because when the day comes that we do got to vote, you know, we build a network. We sit here and we talk about it. You know, it's going to get to a point where we're going to have to sit down and what was it Nancy Milan that told us that day? She would go to churches, the Morenos. She would go to churches. She would go to these little civic clubs. Everywhere. And she had to say why they should vote for her. She ain't go to one Mexican club. She ain't, and I mean not nightclub. Yeah, she didn't go to a civic club and say, let me go to Wimauma and talk to the people of Wimauma and see what they need. Or let me go to all these little pueblitos where the people are. Because there are none. Yeah. We're not organized like that.
There's no voters there.
There's a shitload of voters. But see, there's no organization.
There's no organization.
There's no like young Latino clubs, right? Like that are like, back in the day, they used to build these big ass buildings like the Cuban club, the Italian club. Yeah. There ain't no Mexican club. The only Mexican clubs are out here where you're shaking our ass at. You see what I'm saying? But these people have actual people that make money, paying dues, building buildings, and changing things. And we are just like, nosotros ira. And this is what we do. It's like, no, we have to organize.
Yeah. So what what Moyo was telling me the other day was basically that the reason why they are trying to get people to register to vote is because the person that basically helped or created this law that everybody's scared about right now is actually going to run for president. So he's like, if he's doing this to Florida, he can, and if he actually goes into being elected to run for president, imagine what he's going to do to the United States.
Yeah.
You know?
So this,
or imagine if the laws that he's trying to pass as a governor, imagine the laws that he will pass as a president.
Yeah.
So when he said it like that, I was like, bro, that makes so much sense as to why we can't let him be the representative of Florida. Is that what it's called?
So he's the governor, and he's one of the Republican Party. He's trying to get the nomination, right? But for 2024, we need to make sure that if he is the candidate, nobody votes for him. So that's why we want the young people to get registered now, so that when 2024 rolls around, like, also people need to understand that the other side, politics are savvy. They're going to come around and do like, hey, here's some free turkeys, and court the Hispanic community because they're good at that. And I think educating people and making them understand, tying the party and who is doing this to the actions so that you don't forget is really important.
I think we're going to have a whole list of everybody that voted for this stuff come around. Was it 3 years from now? 3 years from now, we're going to have a whole list of all these people that voted for this thing. And because it's public. Like, these fools went up there to Tallahassee and literally said, I vote for this, you know, and have all our community up in this.
I can't wait. Politics is messy. It makes me happy.
Yeah. it's like you guys did this. I said, but this is the paro that's going on this whole, on the 1st of June. To me, it's like, that's beautiful. That's beautiful because they're pissed. It's beautiful. Yeah, you should be pissed. I was like, so now what you gonna do about it?
Right.
Don't just scream for one damn day. Let's get this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what. All right, so I went to USF for social work. I somehow always end up doing so. I don't do it for a living, but like, if anything like this happens, injustice, this shit has to change. That's kind of shit that pisses me off and makes me do something else. And my kids are like, where you going now? I'm gonna go talk about this shit. Because this shit's important.
Right.
Yeah.
Zooming out, I know we can't tell the future, right? But someone asked, what do you think is going to happen to Florida, let's say a year from now? Like, what do you guys think?
Or even a month from now.
How's it going to go down?
When it all starts.
First.
I'm eager to see. So the laws, everything we're talking about, it goes into effect July 1st. So I and all, you know, I speak from a lawyer point, right? We're just thinking about challenging this shit and having things invalidated. But for that to happen, we have to have something called standing. That means it's not like a hypothetical thing. Something has to happen to someone, which a lot of times we're just like, make this happen. For example, like Rosa Parks, that didn't happen by chance, right?
You were telling me about that.
So it was set up. Yeah, it was.
Well, I want to hear this.
Please explain it.
So a lot of the cases that go before, so to be able to sue, something has to have happened to you. That means you have something called standing. So sometimes there are organizations that are willing to take the fight, the long route. So for example, the Rosa Parks incident with the bus, it wasn't a happenstance that it just happened. No, she had the backing basically, and she knew exactly what was going on. So she was, discriminated, pushed to the back of the bus, all that good stuff. But, that made it all the way up to the Supreme Court. So there are organizations that are going to be
told us
ready.
That it's cool, right?
Well, there's a little legal side you learn. Yeah, because, if you're looking around, it's more like you can't go sifting for the opportunities. You put people in the right situation to create the opportunity. So, I can't wait for that
or
to
maybe
happen.
there, going back in history, maybe there was 20, 50 Rosa Parks, but no one paid attention to that. No one brought that up.
I said, but this one we're going to get.
Nobody made it viral at the time.
But you put it in the situation. So, like, a lot of his precedent, like landmark is the right word. Landmark Supreme Court cases are things that are created, right?
Okay.
So they're like situations that are created, and sometimes it happened to people for real. Sometimes it was like, hey, it'd be great if this happened to you.
Wow.
So I mean,
let me go into Florida and have homeboy with me, and he gets deported, and I get a 3rd degree.
Oh my God. Yeah, stuff like so.
And now I can sue the state.
I want to see what happens and create the situation. I do know that a lot of immigration attorneys are enraged, and we're ready, and the world is watching. So I don't know what Florida will look like in a year, but I've been back from a 10-year hiatus, and I'm like, I ain't going anywhere. This is what we're here for.
That's
so
right.
I'm excited to see the people stand up and be empowered. So let's see what happens.
Awesome.
I love it. So I think more than anything, we just need to calm the people down.
Yeah.
Like tell them what's for real.
Yeah, the real stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I was saying.
Yeah, I would say if you have all that, go ahead.
Yeah. And there's people like Abogada Danielle that are out there. So Susan Valdez had a town hall. She had lawyers go up there, and the lawyers were the ones that read the law. That's how I know about it, because I've been in front of all these lawyer friends of mine and the way they interpret it. So I look at it like, all this shit was already around us. Let's not just get too crazy about it, but let's do something about it so this shit don't get worse. Because this is just this law. What if he stays as governor and he wants to do some other shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else is down the pipeline?
This is a attack towards Latinos, right? But he's had time to dedicate to all the groups that he doesn't like. So,
including Disney.
Yeah.
Messing with them, with Disney and all kinds of other groups. So,
I mean, this is my opinion, and everyone has an opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is my opinion. I feel like what's he doing right now is just to get him out in the light.
Claro que sí.
Like, just to get some shine and be like, I'm running for president, and here's a light on me.
And look at what I'm
Let's
doing for
And
you guys.
stepping on us.
You know
Right.
what
It's like,
pisses me off is, that's exactly what he's doing on our dime,
Yeah.
our detriment, everybody who pays taxes.
And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna leave this in here, but I'm not gonna lie. I was a fan of Florida. I mean, during COVID, during all that, we were chilling, we were good.
Bro, I mean the same thing. It's like,
And
there's
then-
many people that voted for this man. They're like, yo, what's he doing?
Yeah.
He's vying for politics. Look, on paper, he's a very smart individual, a really smart politician. He's making moves to position himself.
Yeah.
Politically, it's chess. He's doing what he needs to do. But unfortunately, it's at our detriment. And that's the fucked up part. Yeah, I'm happy I didn't have to stay home during COVID. It's like, people are like, I can't go outside. I'm like, it sucks.
Can't relate.
We can relate,
Honestly,
Not where I live.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a lot of people that really did. They're like, we're Republicans. We just didn't ask for this.
Right.
It's like, okay, but know who your peoples are. Because all them people up there, and there was people up there screaming at these people like, please don't do this. Don't vote for this. What's wrong with you? I think one lady was, her son passed away in a car accident, and it was an undocumented worker. I'm like, and then it upsets me. I'm like, well, give him a driver's license. Then he can get insurance, and he can, there's a lot of things that is wrong with Florida.
Yeah. Cool.
Anything else? Any other questions?
I want to close it out. Something.
One more jipper.
Something.
Well, in the first, we need people to know that. Just the first. We're gonna rise up. We're gonna rise up as a people. Today I was having tacos. I went to Tacos Vine, and I'm like, yo, you guys opening on Thursday by any chance? She's like, oh no.
I love it.
That's good.
We are not. And all the stores that stores closing.
I had some people.
I mean,
tag me.
everyone's
I'm
closing.
Yeah.
Everyone's closing. Like, they're like, nope.
Not working.
So,
not doing it.
So yeah.
What I've heard in the past is
Guariz is not shipping any orders out on Thursday either.
Hey, I love it.
What I've heard in the past is if you guys are if you're a business owner or your employees and everything, you guys are closing. Don't go shop at Walmart. Don't go shop at Target that day. No, if you're gonna close, you have to make your presence be missed.
Stay home. Yeah, if you're not gonna go and be part of the protest, it's fine.
Yeah.
But just don't spend money. Don't go on Amazon.
Well, that's something that nobody had ever told me before, you know. So I wouldn't go
Don't go to Starbucks.
work, but then I'll be at Starbucks and it's a day off for me.
day off.
You know,
And
that kind of defeats the purpose. And but I feel like they don't say that enough.
My boys, I told them, I said, you guys are cooking at home. It's either they're coming to the first place to make sure they register and make sure that their stuff is all good, and then they can take their butt home.
Can you give the addresses or the exact locations?
Yeah, I'm sure. Could you put them in the notes for us?
Yeah.
But we'll be in Dover, 11 to 3 at the IGA, across from Rancho Potrillos, and then we're going to be in Wimauma at RCMA, their main office, from 5 and on till the sun goes down. It's gonna be a long day. I'm taking my music.
Okay.
So
I'll be DJing.
Okay.
I think we'll be at the Wimauma one then, right?
Oh, that'll be fun. I'd love you guys to be there.
Wait, we're not opening Thursday then,
No,
right?
no. Well, that was my next question. I'm trying to.
No, it's because I didn't even know what we were going to do.
I'm trying to figure this out. I mean, for business owners out there too, do you tell your employees, hey, don't come? or do you let the employees be like, you decide, or how's it work?
A buddy of mine has a construction company. He said, "Hey, you guys are not required to come to work that day."
Okay.
That's it. He goes, Moyo, tell him not to. He called me personally. He said, Moyo, tell him not to spend a dime.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad we're focusing on that because, again, I just heard about that second part recently, and I'm like, why did nobody ever tell me this before? You know? Like, it literally defeated.
I'll give my girls are not here. My staff is remote, but I'll be like, you can be off.
Yeah.
They don't go nowhere.
Is this a Florida thing, or we doing this all over the U.S. possibly?
They call it a paro nacional. I'd love to see how far it goes. I mean, but that Florida's heavy on it. Again, I'm not telling people to do it. I'm saying because you can't tell. It's like there's families out there that feed, So,
of course.
But if you do and you have the means and you're going like
and you got your boss's support.
Yeah, a good buddy of mine. I was like, hey, you going to work on Thursday? He was like, look, man. I mean, I'm gonna tell you how he said it.
Yeah.
He pretty much said, my boss left me in charge of the job site, and he just left to France on vacation, right? And then there's another owner of the company here also. I really can't. But if no one comes to work, I'm taking my happy ass home.
Yeah.
So you got to be responsible too. You can't get fired.
Exactly what I'm
you
saying.
can't lose,
and you can't trip on your friends about not being able to. You can't. That's why I say,
can't.
But if they can do their part though, right? It's like he can be like, yo, listen, but I'm sending 10 because there's a thing that we're saying. It's like for every immigrant, every person that we know, everybody's in this fight, send 10 people to make sure they register.
Let's go.
Yeah. So if your buddy
awesome.
can't, right? He could possibly tell a few other people that he knows can. Yeah, spreading the word. Yeah, for sure.
Your kids got friends. Your kids' friends got friends. People anywhere you can think of. You'd be surprised.
Do you think, I mean, it's because, we're all over social media. There's been different paro nacionales throughout my lifetime. And I always see the comments, right? Does it really work or no? Like, do you think, like, I don't know, because I don't follow politics like that. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot of things about it. So I'm always like, I see the comments, it makes sense. But I still feel like even if it doesn't work, we at least have to try. We can't just be like, never do anything.
Danielle, what do you think? I have a way.
He has a strong opinion
so
on this.
I haven't had, okay, let me rewind really, really quick because I worked for the federal government forever, so I couldn't have my own opinion out loud.
Yeah.
And for the last 4 years, because I do. So I think we should do everything we can in our power, even if it works for $1, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And I think it works in a way of making people feel a certain way. Like empowerment. Thank you. And so many years ago, they did it on Del Mabry, and I remember just the feeling of it. I was like, but again, you can't just go out. I don't want people to think like, yo, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna make this happen. Right. I don't want the kids going out there and taking their big mamalonas and going out there and doing donuts everywhere because they got, because they're out there protesting. Right. I don't want you waving your Mexican flags and acting a fool. I don't want those things because those things makes us look bad, and we're not bad people. Mm-hmm. So go out there. You do we're allowed to protest in this country. So go out there and you do your thing. That's fine. Right. But I say, you got to put some action to it. If you don't register somebody, if you don't tell somebody to go down and get registered or do their part, or remember that the next registration, or make sure that you go online and check your own registration to vote, because you can. All you got to do is go on and it tells you where you're at. Right. That right there, now you're taking action. That day on Thursday, maybe just go online and check what's really going on, or get familiar with the law. Anything, but just gotta put some action to what we're doing. Si no vale nada. Yeah. No vale nada. And I think it's I hope that answered that one.
Yeah,
like,
that was great.
Thanks.
That was good. Anything else? Oh wait, sorry.
Go ahead.
Anything else? Like last words? I mean.
And I really hope people talk about it. Mm-hmm. I hope they keep spreading the real. I don't want them sharing all the garbage, because they see it online. There was a video of that they doctored, and everyone's leaving Florida.
Right.
You know, hurricane videos where people were leaving Florida.
Just like remember those hurricane videos that has some turtles flying. Be careful what you see online.
Yeah. Don't believe everything.
Double
you guys
check.
see online.
Like that whole fake news concept is real.
Yeah,
As
it's
in,
real,
like
bro.
people will just say stuff on TikTok. So I had to go create my own TikTok so I could actually put out real information about. They're like, abogada, I heard que puedo arreglar sin salir. I'm like, that's a gimmick. It's a lie.
Someone sent a video. Anna Lamb, she has like 900 people on a WhatsApp. And so in there, that's where a lot of that we see a lot of these videos. And there was a guy on there claiming to be an attorney. I don't know the guy, but he said, if you've been here 10 years, we could start your case.
That's some bullshit.
So I called an attorney friend of mine that morning, and that's the first thing I sent her the whole video. I said, hey, what do you see with these videos? Like the first thing, that 10-year thing. I'll let you go ahead and say it.
So like a big thing that I always tell people, I love, if I had all the time in the world, I'd sit here and demystify all the lies, but I do. They're like, oh, I heard I could just, arreglar after 10 years. I'm like, no, that's not true. Like you have to put yourself in immigration proceedings in deportation court. That's an immigration judge. You're like at the end. And there's like, it's really
It's like
hard.
a Hail Mary.
It's really hard because to have that, you need to have the perfect scenario, as in you have to have a family member que tiene hardship, like a really sick son or daughter that's a U.S. citizen. You have to have it's actually really hard. And then the other thing is they're going around saying that you can fix your papers without leaving if you came in illegally. That's a freaking lie. That does not exist. That's something that is advertising. And unfortunately, some attorneys are allowed to have this arreglar sin salir lie in different states, and that's bullshit. What happens, because I have people call. I had different people call me like, tell me what they tell you. They start asking you about different things. So there's no one way, no magic pill, but people get suckered into $200-300 consultation phone calls because they're not free. And then they ask you other questions to try to see if you're eligible for like a U visa or different. So there's no magic solution. I do hate that they prey on people's like hope.
Yeah.
And that's the bad part.
That's
And
the
take their
sucky
money.
part.
Yeah.
Oh, and they take their money.
Yeah.
That's
For
the
sure.
main thing for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of people get scammed. That's why it's like, if it's not an attorney, like,
And
really
I show my
information.
clients how to look up an attorney. I'm like, ask your attorney what state they're barred in. Google Florida bar, look up whatever. I literally have workshops where I show them. I'm like, don't let some asshole lie and take your money.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look up. It's your right. And you look them right up, because a lot of these paralegals pretend to be attorneys too. Like, I hate it. Our own people, Latins, like, will straight up lie and take your money.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for coming on our show today. It's something that we had been wanting to do for the longest. So thank God you reached out to me and we made this happen.
I thank you guys, because I was like, I think that this platform is totally different than from, we got radio listeners, people that are working every day in construction. Just like your audience is like the younger crowd. And then I think there's another one under you guys is those kids that are still in high school that we need to get to too.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you can register at 16, like, that's all my kids' friends.
I didn't know that. That's very good to
Yeah,
know.
you can register, but they'll get their card when they're 18. I just want them to see them numbers. I want them people to see them numbers. Like, what was? I want like mi familia VOTAR to show up with like this thing of slips. Like,
let's go
here. This 2,000 Mexican kids that came out, Mexican American kids that are ready to vote for somebody, right? When these elections come up, so like I need them to see that. We have a power as a people.
Yeah,
we have a power as a people. We got to use it.
And especially, I know this is like random off topic, but lately Mexican culture has been up there. We've talked about it with Peso Pluma being #1 globally. We Mando did like this whole do you know who the #1 artist is, and it's Mexicans. Mexicans are up there on the global chart.
Yeah,
so,
we in style.
So if we put all that effort that we put into
music,
TikToks and all this into registering and trying to make a difference, because now you guys see that there's people out there that want to see Latinos suffer and go through all these things that is unfortunately happening right now. Maybe we can make a change,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you guys again, and I hope we answered some of your questions, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Bye.
Bless.